DSCSA is finally here. Hi, we are InfiniTrak's compliance team. This presentation has been put together by one of our nationally recognized compliance experts, Chief Compliance Officer Mark Tate, with help of our sales and marketing coordinator, Andrew Knight. What is the current state of DSCSA, and what am I required to do as a pharmacist before November 27th, 2024? That is a hot topic right now amongst many pharmacies across the country. We will cover what is needed for full compliance, a breakdown of waivers, exceptions, and exemptions, and how our all-in-one solution will have your pharmacy covered for all regulations. When you are ready to get compliant, scan a QR code on any of the slides. As you can see, we've come a long way in 11 years. Finally, new robust data formats, EPSIS, have been proliferating down the supply chain. A stabilization period was granted to all supply chain members in August 2023 to postpone enforcement of DSCSA for the entire supply chain, but this primarily gave players upstream in the supply chain, like manufacturers and wholesalers, time to ensure they had a method of sending EPSIS downstream. To limit supply chain disruptions and to prevent dispensers from being unfairly penalized, the FDA announced an exemption for small dispensers on the serialization aspects of the law. However, this exemption does not apply to all aspects of the law, some of which have been in place for years. Compliance Officer and President Mark Tate will expand on this. On the left side is an overview of the requirements that will become enforceable after November 27th, 2024. On the right, you see the serialization requirements InfiniTrak already has you prepared for. This is why we are called an all-in-one solution. Rather than talk over the slides on the platform, people say seeing is believing. So let's show you an exclusive peek at InfiniTrak's all-in-one solution to see how you can become compliant with all DSCSA regulations in no time.
Policy statement for DSCSA is the first thing auditors ask for. We provide a template which you can customize for your pharmacy. Once you have customized it and saved it to your desktop, you can upload it back onto the document section of our platform and access it later. The Transactions tab is where you can view all your transactions. You will see some of our newest transactions at the top. Opening the transaction, you can see the seller and buyer information on the transaction detail page. You will also see that we have already done your supplier's license verification. We verify those licenses on a transactional basis. You will see the products and can manually accept them in, therefore reconciling your products with your data. While scanning may not be required by law, it is one of our recommended best practices for reconciling products. Scanning allows users the ability to match data points much faster than visual reconciliation. To scan, simply head to Scan Incoming Products, plug in your scanner, scan and accepting your products. In the case of a suspect product, you would want to use our Suspect Product Wizard. Head to the transaction screen and select the transaction that contains the suspect product, open the product, and head to Review. These first two tabs on the review get you thinking why this product might be suspect. The third tab is the most important as it relates to what you have observed with the product. You simply want to say yes to anything that is applicable and move to the conclusion. You will pick a status and can write additional notes. Click Save and Close, and that saves with your data. You can print quarantine labels and report your findings to the FDA directly from this page. InfiniTrak's intuitive solution offers scanning to verify the serialized data on the products you have received. Simply scan and click your verification reason. Clicking Submit will send a verification request to the manufacturer to confirm the product's legitimacy.
As you can see, InfiniTrak has you covered for all DSCSA requirements. Here are insights from our nationally recognized compliance expert, Mark Tate.
As November 27th approaches, what should you expect from enforcement? We know the NABP has been working with the individual state boards of pharmacy to help them develop a process to enforce the DSCSA. Each state will be a little bit different in their approach. We know that the state boards of pharmacies will link the enforcement to the annual pharmacy inspections. Pharmacies will be asked for a copy of their policies and procedures, SOP. This document is required for all pharmacies. It should outline how your pharmacy is complying with the law. As the regulator begins inspections, they will review how you are capturing T3 data and storing the data, and may ask you to show them data from a random item on yourself or a random set of DSCSA data. And they may ask you to show how you are complying with the interoperable sections of the law. The Board of Pharmacy and FDA may contact you during investigations of suspected products, illegitimate products, or diversions to track down harmful products. In this case, you should be able to produce any data requested within 48 hours. You should also be ready to produce data and/or demonstrate compliance for any PBM inquiry. We know the PBMs and are beginning to use this law to affect your reimbursements. What are WEs and how will they affect your pharmacy? Waivers, exceptions, and exemptions. First, as you may know, the FDA has issued a letter allowing small pharmacies to use a small business exemption which allow them 2 more years to get compliant with the serialized portion of the law. This is not a blanket exemption and does still require the pharmacy to be compliant with the rest of the law. These pharmacies will have any exemption for complying with receiving the serialized data and conducting interoperable functions on the platform. Of course, the InfiniTrak platform provides full compliance for these tasks on day 1. Waivers. Some suppliers are now applying for temporary waivers from the FDA because they are not ready to send serialized data yet. We do not know whether these vendors will be granted a waiver from the serialized portion of the law. As this process unfolds, it will be very important the pharmacy has a compliance partner to help them deal with this problem. Exceptions are events that will happen when the pharmacy receives transactions without the full set of data or no data at all. During these events, the pharmacy will have to quarantine products until they receive the proper data. Our staff at InfiniTrak will contact the vendor to get your replacement data. The vendors should send the replacement data within 24 hours. To help you deal with these exceptions, it is important you get signed up with InfiniTrak to ensure you are fully compliant. Small business exemptions. Pharmacies that utilize the small business exemption to allow them 2 more years to deal with the serialized portion of the law need to be sure they are complying with the remainder of the law. These pharmacies should still engage with a compliance partner like InfiniTrak to make sure they are doing the following items. Receiving and saving the T3 data from their vendor list is lot-level data being tracked. Make sure you are reconciling your products with the transaction data. Confirm their authorized trading partners are fully licensed. Make sure you have an SOP for each of your pharmacies. Know how to recognize suspect product, investigate, document, and report any suspect or illegitimate products. Again, all of these compliance needs are fully covered by the InfiniTrak platform. Experience compliance comfort with InfiniTrak now.
The InfiniTrak solution allows our customers the ability to speed up their inventory receiving process and ensures patients are not receiving counterfeit medications. Our simple design allows the end user to be ready to use the platform with minimal training. To help further streamline your compliance processes, our simple design allows us to integrate into any PMS, aka pharmacy management system. This helps pharmacies, who are already checking in products into their perpetual inventory on their PMS, to streamline their compliance and inventory reception process. This is done by securely transferring transactional data between InfiniTrak and your PMS. If this feature sounds useful to you, ask your pharmacy management system contact for more information. Now, we will let our satisfied customers tell you themselves. Thank you for your time listening to our presentation. Remember, the time to get compliant is now. As a reminder, you can register by scanning the QR code on any slide.